it's just through language. Because the word church, which I'm not messing with that in the sense of doing away with it, because church is a good, church represents everything we love and believe in, and I'm not trying to eliminate church, okay? But I do want us to think about this for a minute. The English word church was never intended in its etymology and meaning. You need to hear me carefully because I want you to miss this. It was never intended to translate Ekklesia.
That's right.
And you don't even need a Greek lexicon for this. If you look up in Wikipedia, you look up the word church, it's not going to take you to Ekklesia.
Right.
It's going to take you to kuriakon.
Yeah.
Kuriakon is a Greek word that is a good word, just like church.
Yeah.
Because it comes from kurios, which means Lord. And kuriakon means belonging to the Lord, or the Lord's. So, and about 300 AD, people began to use the term kuriakon to describe houses of worship and Christian organizations, hierarchical structures, like the Catholic kuriakon or the Lutheran kuriakon, this organization of Christians. Because, let's see, what word could we use to describe them? Belonging to the Lord, kuriakon. And this place they meet, what are they going to call it? A kuriakon. Belongs to the Lord. The people that belong to the Lord meet there.
Yeah.
It's a kuriakon.
Right.
So, that's how the word kuriakon was used, starting in 300 AD. From that came the German word Kirch, and from that came the English word church. So church translates kuriakon, not Ekklesia. I'm trying to connect every dot, isn't it? Am I saying this clearly? Are you getting it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So when King James came along and wanted to translate the scriptures into English, he had 15 or 16, I think it was 16, but 16 rules that he mandated to the translators that they had to do. And one of those was, and I can't, just think with me, can't imagine why a king an earthly king might be a little intimidated by the concept of Ekklesia.
Yeah. Right.
It's like the liberal politicians and government people today. As long as we stay over here in our little corner and love one another, that's fine. You leave it there. Don't
Yeah.
you dare bring it out here
Yeah.
and start trying to mess with laws
Yeah.
and the culture.
Yeah.
So King James did not like the concept of Ekklesia. So he mandated that every time you come to the word Ekklesia in the scriptures, you have to use the word church. Not a legislative assembly. Not government.
Right.
You have to say church, which meant a building or the people that belong to the Lord.
Yeah.
The family of God.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a legislative assembly. Now, I don't care what your theological persuasion is. Number one, what I just said to you is undeniably factual. Number two, we'd have to be very deceived and insincere to not look at it logically then and say, when you start using wrong terms and wrong definitions, ultimately you're going to change the whole concept.
Right.
And you're going to begin to redefine.
That's right.
Gay doesn't mean happy.
Uh-huh.
Go ask your kids when you get home what gay means.
Yeah.
You change the language, you change the paradigm.
Yeah. That's right.
Don't say he's going to build his legislative assembly, the government of the kingdom left behind on earth to implement kingdom laws and principles. Don't say that. Call them God's people. Call them belonging to the Lord. So, what do we do with that? You know, I used to think, well, we gotta change the language. We gotta stop calling this a church. It's not gonna happen. We're not gonna change the paradigm back to the way it's supposed to be by changing the way we use the word church. It is so indelibly ingrained into our culture, it's not gonna happen. And even people who agree with me theologically, you're gonna go home and you're gonna talk about going to church Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's just that. There's nothing you can do about it. And you're not gonna tell your people, we're gonna build a new building. You're gonna say, we're gonna build a new church. And people are not gonna say, where do you go to congregate?
Yeah.
They're gonna say, where do you go to church? You know, we're not gonna change it. But I'm not even trying to change it. I'm not messing with the word church anymore, because I know it's not gonna happen. I'm just adding the word Ekklesia.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach on this, and write books on this, and God's raising up others who are doing the same thing. I'm starting to hear it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
That's right.
Amen.
Yeah.
People are talking about it. It's just a move of God.
Right.
What else? There's nothing else you can say. It is an emphasis of the Spirit that is coming right now, where people are starting to talk about Ekklesia.
Yes.
And you're going to find books. There are going to be books and teachings and seminars, and people are going to do what I'm doing, and we're going to say, oh wow, yeah, we the church are an Ekklesia. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to use some teaching